Anyways, I'm a little insensitive this week just because I've been dealing with a lot of those people, and I mean it's always illness. It's never, it's never like bad people. Like there's always just like an underlying illness that they're suffering from that makes them live in these conditions. And you hear the stories about how they first. I got, yeah, the house I'm putting on the market Monday too. Is another hoarder situation. All I deal is with hoarder houses. I don't
Really?
know. It's
Why
just
are
what
they
I
all
seem
for
to get
sale
lately.
now?
I just keep getting them. I don't know. So literally, the
But are they
closing yesterday,
all not paying rent?
the apartment building that had to extend, and my new listing on Monday were all like severe hoarder situations.
But
Severe, like
that
the
stopped
most you've
paying
ever seen.
rent? Like, why are these people selling the houses? It's their
Two was
houses they're
two
selling?
were owner occupied, and the other
Owner
one was
occupied hoarders.
apartment. And she's paying rent. Of course she is. She's paying 33% of market rent. She
I
pays it on time every month.
feel like you're doing it again, TK. I feel like you're this is like one of those arrogant sighs moments where you're like complaining about all the listings you have to work on.
No, I'm not. I'm not. This is
Oh,
no. There's no
everybody
arrogance
else. Do you
here.
know, TK, that
I'm
there
telling
are
you that.
realtors out there? If you look at these stats,
Yeah.
if you look at the volume of dollars that's different compared to last year, and you look at the volume of sales that's down, like guys are dying out there. Realtors' incomes are dying. And you week after week come in here going, oh, I was on vacation, I had to deal with this fucking firm offer I got, like so ridiculous. And like now I'm buried up to my eyeballs in listing after listing after listing. And the worst part of it, I have to work at it now.
First of all, I don't think the top agents took a hit last in 2022.
No, I think they got stronger.
I think all the top agents seem to have just as good as a year as ever.
What about the ones that pretend that
people who are
part
timers didn't sell that one or two listing that they might have before?
I think the pretenders are starting to realize that this is
not
not
really sure,
exactly what it was cracked up to be in their heads. Like it's just not. You really do have to work. I don't know if it's phone calls, but like you got to be networking one way or another, because like what's the chances that someone in your network is just going to be ready to sell their place, right? Like that network's got to be growing and growing and growing. Yeah. It's high that they're going to want to sell their place.
If you have a big network. I see what you're going with that. Yeah. So percentage of people, it's very low.
But most people, they know a few people, and in the last few years, they got some listing from like some Facebook media or whatever the fuck, and it was nothing. And now it's like, oh boy.
You know what's the worst question a realtor can be asked? So you go to a party, or you go to a party, or you go to like an event or something like that, right? You go to your hockey game or your family gathering or kids baseball practice.
What do you do for a living?
That would be actually maybe even worse than this one. Are you still in real estate?
Are you still in real estate?
Are you still in real estate?
Is everything okay?
Right? It's a bad question when realtors get
yeah. Still in real estate?
Yeah. Of course. The market's crazy. What are you thinking about doing?
Right.
Right.
Why?
Right.
Why do you want to know?
Yeah, because if chances are people are asking you that, it's because they either haven't seen you sell anything or hear you talk about it or do anything, and that's an issue.
That's interesting,
right? Because you can't be a secret agent. That's the main thing. It's like you got to be out there. You got to be everywhere you go. You got to at least be willing to give people free real estate advice. At the very bare minimum.
The fake phony agents out there are now like, oh shit, like what the hell?
Yeah.
There's not enough idiots out there anymore selling their houses to go with those people. Because I guess, like, did people have to go with these idiots because they genuinely felt like they should, or like were the good people too busy, or the good people weren't out in their faces?
The most important thing about realtor selection, okay? It's the number one criteria.
This episode brought to you by coconut water.
This is the number one reason that people hire a real estate agent, okay? Ready for this? Realtors who are listening?
I think they have to.
Because they were there.
Because they were there.
Because they were there.
What if there was 3 of them there? What if you have a sister?
But you might, hey, your odds are 1 in 3. But if you weren't there, what are your odds?
Right. Well,
1 in 73,000.
Maybe more.
That's how many agents there are. Okay. So that's it. just like they're not gonna go. I'm there. I'm in your life. I'm on your fridge. I'm in your magazines. I'm on the bus shelter. You're there. And so because you were there, the person thought of you. You got an opportunity. Maybe you were the only guy they called. Maybe they called 10. I don't know, but you got a chance. And if you're not there, and there's nobody who knows your name, and people come up to you and say, what do you do for a living? Then chances are you're not going to be able to get those calls.
Oh, you're saying that that's a bad question because they don't already know what you do for a living. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah,
that
that's
you're
what you
marketing. No.
Yeah.
I was just
well, yeah.
gonna say, like, when you're at a party and you meet somebody and they say, like, what do you do for a living? That opens up the door for you to run your fucking
Of course,
mouth
of
about
course.
a bunch of
So in
bullshit.
that situation, that's a good question. But it's when people already know that you're in real estate and they come up to you and say,
Right.
"Are you still in real estate?
But what about if it's like you're super?
You still doing that real estate thing there, Jim?"
Can you imagine people walking up to Frank Leo and going, what do you do for a living? He'd be pissed, no? That they didn't already know because of how much he spends on making sure they know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's but it's going out for lunch with him. It's definitely like a celebrity.
Right. He knows everybody.
No, everyone knows him.
Everybody knows him.
People are lining up to get like autographs and stuff, selfies.
Wow. Look at that. The power
I had my
of
claim to fame.
advertising.
We were there at the restaurant, and then oh, I know you, right? And so then we're walking out to the
What
car.
happened? I don't understand. What were you
Just
saying?
like people in the restaurant were like coming up to him and saying like
him.
hi and different things. Yeah, not me.
I thought
And
you were
so
saying
I'm
you.
like, whatever, let's just try to enjoy our lunch. And
So
we're
you're
walking
hoping
back to the
somebody was
car.
going to recognize you, or you're like,
We're,
somebody's going to recognize
we're
me?
walking back to the car, and all of a sudden you hear TK.
I'm your number one fan.
TK.
Did they
And this
knock you
guy
out
that I
with a
knew from
hammer
like
and throw
when I
you
was
in
a
a
kid,
trunk?
like I haven't seen this guy forever, but he's on Facebook, so he recognized my face, I guess. He like ran up to me to shake my hand to tell me like hi. I think he was a valet guy. He was doing the valet, and I was just
Crazy.
like, "Hey man, how are you?" And he looked at me and he's shaking my hand, and oh yeah, good, good, good. And then he looks at Frank and he goes, "I know you."
Crazy.
And I was just like, "All right, let's get out of here
Celebrities.
quickly."
Look at
Yeah.
you. You get recognized all over the place.
Me?
Yeah, nobody
No, I don't get
recognizes me
recognized.
ever. I never go out.
You don't go out anywhere.
But then
I
you
don't think
tell me
anyone
I'm so
recognizes me
super
from real estate.
social.
They just
Which is
recognize me
it?
from the podcast, and it happened twice. And we'll talk about that until the day we die, Darryl.
Am I social or am I? You tell me I'm like super social, and then you tell me I hide in my
Kayla
house.
is super social.
Kayla would be so super social if I
Yeah.
wasn't such a drag.
Yeah, I think she's the social one, and then she
tired.
bumps you up a couple levels.
A few levels.
Yeah.
TK, what the hell? Did we even talk about anything today?
Nothing.
Jesus
Let's just
Christ.
delete this episode.
What about the